Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something completely different. I have a new car, as you might have guessed from the thumbnail and the information about the video, and I'm going to talk about why I got it and what happened with the Alfa Romeo 4C. So if you haven't been following the channel, I had an Alfa Romeo 4C that I bought. It was a 2016 Spider, and I absolutely loved that car, even though it had many flaws. It was a sports car. It was very hardcore for what it was, but actually less hardcore than something like a Lotus. It was great, but I kind of just got a little bit bored of it. It was also a difficult car to maintain, especially in this region, and I just wanted to move on because as a car reviewer, as a car guy, I want to own as many cars as possible. I want to move on. I want to experience all brands, and that's what I've done today. I have a different car. So this is my new car that's on the channel right now. This is a Maserati Quattroporte GTS, a V8 powered Italian saloon car. And I'm gonna tell you why this car above anything else. So why a Maserati? Well, this car was offered to me as a trade with the Alfa Romeo, and I thought it wasn't a bad one in terms of value. What these go for in Europe compared to the Alfa Romeo, they're quite similar. If you get a low mileage GTS Quattroporte like this one, they're actually a bit more expensive, but you know, it's quite difficult to kind of judge that. It all depends on what you like. They're two different cars, obviously. The Alfa Romeo being a sporty four-cylinder car, while this is a more of a luxury saloon car with a V8. So you got 4 more cylinders, 2 more doors, and a lot more horsepower. And speaking of power, this car has a 3.8 liter twin turbo V8 designed by Maserati, as they claim, but built by Ferrari. These are literally almost the same engines that goes into the 488s, so you're getting a lot of power. And here it produces 530 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, but between 2,000 and 4,000 revs you get 524 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot of torque. That's like sort of like a trick overboost system that this car has, and you can really feel it when you drive. Now that engine does also translate to one of the best sounding exhaust systems I've ever heard in a stock car. Actually, Maserati are quite known for their exhaust notes, and let's have a listen. The engine has made it to a ZF gearbox similar to the one that I have in my Hellcat, just a little bit less powerful, but does the job. It's prevalent in many models, as well as BMW. You can find them on some Rolls Royces, Maseratis, and other vehicles from the Chrysler group. 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, a quarter mile in 12.7, and the top speed of around 191 miles an hour. This car is definitely not a slouch. Now the weight of this car is around 4,200 pounds, which is a lot. It's a very big car. It rivals the S-Class. It's actually longer than the long wheelbase S-Class, so that's how big it is. I don't know if you can see it, but the design just kind of makes it flow in such a way that it doesn't really look that big. And thanks to it being built 1/3 out of aluminum, it keeps that weight down and makes it just feel like a sports car. It's very weird because it doesn't look like a sports car, but it feels like a sports car. And also, thanks to its looks, it has a very low drag coefficient of 0.28, so it's like a fish. So no wonder why it can reach that top speed. But all in all, I just really think that's a very pretty looking car. It's very understated. I'm not sure about the color. I think it suits more of an older person's kind of taste, but it does still look very classy. I'm thinking about changing the color in the future. I'm thinking about doing a couple of things with this car that will spruce it up and just make it mine. So there are a little bit of nicks here and there. There's a dent here, and there's something happening here that I don't really understand because there's rust over there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so there's bits and pieces that I'm not really happy about, but it is a used car. Oh, there's bird crap all over. That must have been today. Couple of things that are not perfect. It is a Maserati at the end of the day. I don't really expect perfection from Italian cars, but Italian cars always do look well. They always sound amazing and they're extremely fun to drive. But before we go for a drive, let's just have a look at the interior real quick. So just like the Levante we reviewed on daily drives, this has pillarless doors. If you want to check out the review on the 2020 Levante, check out the link below or click up here. Now the interior is quite nice, but also a bit dated. Can you stop? Yeah, the car beeps a lot. So you got your Uconnect here in the middle, which I know from my Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. I love the system. Actually, it's quite easy to use, but it does look sort of dated in this one, especially with this silver around that part. I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of that. It does feel a bit dated, and especially with Maserati, when we did the Levante as well, it always feels like they're a step behind other brands when it comes to their systems that they use. I don't know, like the blue color to me just makes it feel dated more than it does in the Hellcat, for example, or in other Dodge products, which is red, and that just makes it feel a little bit, I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking, but the Bluetooth doesn't work very well. Once I connect my phone and listen to music, it skips. If you own a Quattroporte and have had this issue in the past, just let me know how to deal with it. Thank you very much. Lots of Alcantara. The whole roof liner is an Alcantara. I'm not really a fan of the wood trim. Everything kind of moves a little bit. It's not the best. Now, before I get into the car and go for a drive and tell you what it's like, I do want to show you one thing. So here's a box, and in this box were the new window wipers that I got for the car because they were quite old and falling apart. Now, when you buy a car like this that is not too expensive because it has depreciated, you still have the problem of parts being very expensive. This cost me around 38 BD from the dealership, and we changed, Casper helped out changing the wipers, but that is quite a lot. So I can't imagine what else will be very expensive when things start to go ping. But fortunately, this is a low mileage example, and I'm hoping I won't have it for that long for it to start deteriorating. That's the word. Man, this car is fast. It's a lot faster than the specifications would lead you to believe. It really pulls you back, and you can really feel that torque surge between 2,000 and 4,000 RPMs. Oh man, just like what you would think a Maserati would feel like to drive, and it is truly special in here. Just driving this thing, I always loved Maseratis for some reason. I don't know if it's the name or whatnot. I kind of always looked at them as the sort of almost Aston Martin Italian brand, but unfortunately now that they've joined FCA, and also fortunately in some cases, there's a lot of things in this car that I've definitely noticed that I've seen somewhere else, and somewhere else meaning that in my Ram and also in the Hellcat. Everything from the start stop button to the switches for the lights to the toggle switches for the windows and Uconnect. It's all, you know, it all reminds you of something, and I don't think I was really expecting to find those parts in the Maserati, but it is what it is. I mean, after a while you just get used to it, and I've had this car for a week now, and I didn't really know how to kind of bring it into the channel, because once I got it, I didn't feel like it was mine. I still felt disconnected from it because I didn't really have a choice with the color, and as I said earlier, I'm not really a fan of the color. So, but it's growing on me. It really is. I'm starting to drive this more and more. It makes me smile, and it's super comfortable. It's not a car that I theoretically would like to drive, because I'm more into sports cars and now into trucks with the Ram, and this is just a completely different segment that I'm not used to, but I'm enjoying it. What also I'm enjoying is the fuel economy. It's not really as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, when I'm doing around 100 kilometers or even 120 kilometers on the highway, which is the speed limit here, it doesn't go over 10 liters per 100 kilometers, so I do mostly highway anyway, so it's actually probably the most efficient car I have in the fleet right now. So far, no issues with it. I've done very hard pulls, no check engine lights, no warnings. It's been a babied car, and you can kind of feel it. The interior is perfect. I really like the seats. They're a lot more comfortable than the Levante, like I said, that we reviewed on Daily Drives. It does feel luxurious, but it also feels kind of sporty. It feels very light for a car this big, and the steering is great. It's hydraulic, so unfortunately sometimes when you go over bumps it does shake you around. Reminds you more of a sports car feel than a luxury car. On these corners there is a little bit of sway. I'm kind of like moving to the left and right. If I stiffen up the suspension, it doesn't really stop the body roll, it just makes you bounce more. And I can see, maybe you can see from the camera how it's shaking a bit more now. So I'm gonna turn that off because I don't see any benefit to it other than annoying your passengers when you're driving. It doesn't feel like a car that you should be chauffeured in. It does feel like a car you wanna drive. So if you're looking for like a big luxury vehicle that, you know, can take a lot of things with you on your journey, and you could take your family with you and still enjoy the drive to work on a daily basis, this might be something you need to look into, especially with the prices dropping. I don't understand, always Maseratis, they have this thing of the price just dropping dramatically after you buy them out of the showroom. So picking up a second-hand one is a must, to be honest. You're definitely driving something that makes you look rich, you know. So if you're into that and you want other people to think that this guy is going places and making moves, I think a used Maserati is a way to go, because it does give you an image that some other cars maybe in this price range don't. Now, I didn't get this car to do that. I got it because honestly I wanted to change up the Alfa Romeo, and this was the offer I was given to exchange it for this Maserati. And at the beginning I was like, well, you know, it's content, it's something new, it's also a new adventure for me because I've never owned a Maserati before, and it will always be like that tick of owning a special car. And I don't know, I think this might stay longer than I was expecting with the channel. We'll see how it goes. As well as, please let me know what you think of this car. I'll be doing more videos about it once I get to drive it and learn it more, see what kind of annoys me. But right now, it's quite enjoyable. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think about the Maserati. I'm very sorry to everyone who wanted to see more Alfa Romeo 4C content. Unfortunately, the car is gone now, but I would recommend that car to anyone who's looking for a sports car. But due to where I live and right now the COVID-19 situation, there's no way I can actually enjoy it on track or on any road here because we're mostly highway. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this swap. I am planning on swapping this car to something else later in the future, and I want to keep on doing that and see what I can get at in the end. And if you're still here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button so you don't miss any new content. Just do me a solid, it really helps out the channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Adios.